All right, some new music from my first guest today. Welcome to another episode of That Jamieson Show, and really excited to bring this guy in with us. He's, I think, our 8th Rock and Roll Hall of Famer that we've had on the program. So let's welcome him now, guitarist, vocalist, and former Sex Pistol, Glen Matlock.
Hello, hey, how you doing there, Don? All right? You all right?
We're doing all right. We're doing all right. We were talking about dentists and buildings and everything before we came on here. Yeah. But now we talk about you, and I mentioned your Rock and Roll Hall of Fame credentials.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get your opinion on a few things related to that. Number one, do you consider it an honor to be in there?
Yeah. It's better than not being in it. I know we didn't go and collect our award because Johnny Rotten decided for everybody without asking us whether we should go or not. But hang on, 1 second.
All right. We're taking a brief commercial break here while Glenn goes in.
Are you ready?
He has a statue. All right, good.
I got it by hook or by crook. So, I like it. It's nice to get a badge. You know, it's up there with your swimming certificate.
Yeah. It's a bit of an odd bird, though, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, because, I don't know if you saw the nominees for this year.
It's not so rock. Well, I actually get to vote on them.
Oh, okay. So
I haven't had my thing through yet. I'm a bit miffed, and Clem Burke, my bandmate in Blondie, he's also a nominee, and we both sit down and say, why on earth don't they put the New York Dolls in? They were so influential, and they just never get through. And the thing is, if they've got the New York Dolls in and they got through, it would shut everybody up going on about it, So, and this was actually given me in Cleveland. I was doing a tour, and Sylvain presented it to me. And while it was great that he presented it to me, I felt kind of sad for him that he didn't have one,
I agree 100%, Glenn. That was the point I was making. The big headline this year for the nominees is Missy Elliott and Willie Nelson lead the charge for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees. And obviously, neither of those people have any connection to rock and roll whatsoever. But the bigger point is what you're saying is like, all right, if you're saying it's more of a music Hall of Fame, that's fine. But if you're going to put Missy Elliott or Madonna or LL Cool J in or whoever, you got to put the New York Dolls in. You got to put Motorhead in. You got to put Thin Lizzy in. You can't keep those bands out to try to bring in to stretch.
Well, I agree with you, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Okay, fair enough.
Right. And the other end and all, if Missy Elliott, what do you call that, R&B these days or whatever, I doubt if they're going to have Ian Dury and the Kilburn and the I-Roads in the R&B award. So, you've just gone all out of focus. Is it me or is it you?
Who knows?
After your whole spiel there about it's not right, you went...
now I'm gone.
Now you're gone.
I'm gone.
Man.
And now I'm back. Here we go.
Back. The second coming.
I like your response. We won't lose sleep over it because there's lots of other things to discuss, which is your new album that comes out April 27th. It's called Consequences Coming. Although you didn't see it, my audience has seen the video of the first single, Head on a Stick. Want to talk about some of the themes and the direction on this record? Well,
yeah. I mean, it's just what's been going on around the Western world over the past 4 or 5 years. In England, we've had Brexit. This probably don't mean too much to you Americans, but to me, there's been a real lurch to the right, which is not where I'm coming from. And I think we've been led down the wrong path by a lot of... In England, we say wrong-uns. I know you've had Trump over there. It's certainly not the flavour of the month for me. Maybe it's not for me to comment on too much, but on the other end it is because, America leads the world in lots of things. And when you see an Herbert like that, you think, nah. And I think some of these people deserve to get some kind of comeuppance, and metaphorically, especially Boris Johnson and a whole bunch of people over here, I'd like to see their head on a stick, you know. So
Yeah, I
that's
think.
what that one's all about. And the other thing is that there's another song on the album, which is the title track of the album, Consequences Coming. I think people are beginning to get wise to their little game, which is self-entitlement, pulling the wool over people's eyes. And I see a little chink of light at the end of the tunnel, where it might not be at the end of the tunnel. It might be in the house on the railway embankment that's about a mile outside the opening of the tunnel, and it's kind of only dawn, and they've just opened their curtains just a tiny little bit, and there's a little bit of light. But I can see some consequences coming for them. So it's not for me, it's for them. We've had our consequences. We're stuck in a wicked bind. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I love the punk rock ethos is still in there with your subject matter and your lyrics. And, when I was 14 and I first heard Nevermind the Bollocks, obviously as an American, I didn't understand a lot of the British cheekiness and the stuff about the royal family, but I knew it was subversive, Glenn. That's why I loved it. That's why we always loved rock and roll from the beginning, because it was subversive and your parents didn't want you to listen to it.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's right. Now, I've kind of got a rock and roll-ish kind of album, but I've always tried to see myself over and above what I'm known for in the past as a songwriter. I dig people like Ray Davies, Paul Weller, and in that kind of idiom, John B. Sebastian. I like that kind of thing, and I try and move in that kind of world, but trying to keep a bit of an edginess to what my lyrics are about, with somehow my punk rock pedigree, for what that's worth. But also on the album, I managed to attract, and I'm friends with, and they help me out, and everybody mucks it. I've got some great players on it. I've got like L Slick plays a lot of the lead guitar on the album. I've got Neil X from ZZ Sputnik, and there's even a Japanese guy called Hot Eye, who's like the Jeff Beck of Japan, and he's the guy who wrote the Kill Bill theme tune. So he guests on the track as well. Some great players. I got on the bass, got Norm Watroy from during the Blockheads. Right. There's quite a pedigree. Clem Burke plays on a couple of tracks. Got my mate of mine, Chris Musto, plays on the other. So there's a kind of high caliber of musicianship as well, all adding up to the horrible racket that I managed to make.
Present company included, because if Head on a Stick is an indication of what's to come on the record, definitely off to a great start. You mentioned Clem Burke, and sort of quietly, maybe to some people, that you've been playing actually bass in Blondie now for a few years. You must have some deep history with them.
One year.
Okay.
I got a phone call. Maybe about 11 months. They were stuck for a bass player, and Clem said, "We're stuck. Can you come and help us out?" And I said, "When?" And he said, "Next week." And I went, "Ooh." I said, "Let me think about it." He said, "I gotta know." So I called him next day, and I thought, actually, I fancied it, and I've really enjoyed doing it. It's been good. So we did a tour of the UK, and we did the East Coast. Where are you?
I'm in New Jersey, and I think actually Debbie Harry lives a few miles from me, because people say they see her in this common shopping area.
Yeah. Well, we've all got to go and get milk, Got milk? Yeah, which we probably has already. But yeah, in fact, the last show I did on a tour in the fall, autumn as we call it, we did a couple of nights in Huntington on Long Island. That was kind of fun. Yeah, I've been all over, and there's some more stuff coming up. But yes, I've known Clem since they first pitched up in London about 1978. Yeah. I've been mates with them all that time. We've worked on quite a few projects over the years, some a bit harebrained, but we've still done it anyway. And we play good together, so it's cool. Yeah. On my album, I'm singing and playing rhythm guitar, and it's what I do live, but I like playing bass when there's somebody else singing,
Right.
Also, it's a funny thing to say, but I see bass playing as a bit like being a plumber or a good carpenter. They say, "Can you come round? I want a bit of bass on this. Can you fix it?" And you go, "Yeah." It'll cost you,
Yeah. That's true. You got them by the balls sometimes with that, but This was amazing to me. So I'm watching the video for Head on a Stick, and I curiously glanced down to see some of the comments, and they were all extremely positive, which made me happy. But amidst the comments, Glen Matlock, would you have ever thought when you were a Sex Pistol in 1977 that you would be interacting with fans in a comment section in YouTube? I was so impressed to see you actually interacting with people.
Yeah, doesn't everybody?
No, most people don't, because people are usually are so negative in any of the comments that, artists don't even like to look. But I was actually thrilled to see you in there.
Oh, well, there you go. Perhaps I'm doing something wrong, but I like to feel I can, over the years, I found a sort of a little lifeboat around any negative stuff and can turn it around. I don't know, the whole idea for me of writing a song is to communicate with people, and it's, I'm not online all the time, but you're communicating with people that hopefully are a little bit like-minded and are attempting to sort of dig where you're coming from. So give them the time of day, I mean, if somebody writes something, I always think if they bother to write to me, even if I don't write back, I always send them a smiley face or a thumbs up. It's the least you can do. And in fact, that's one of the worst expressions in English. Is oh, you shouldn't have done that. Oh, don't worry, it was the least I could do. But think about it.
Yes, and so people will agree. They'll go, yes, that was the least you could possibly do. Get a couple of quick ones. I'll let you go. For you, who's the most Sex Pistols band since the Sex Pistols?
Oh, in terms of what?
Like when I think of what explosion your band made, just from that first album.
Kind of the Beastie Boys, maybe. I dig them. They kind of got all that kind of mix. Yeah, because they took it on a bit more. It was punky, and they embraced rap and hip hop a little bit, and they got the, and it looked like they was having fun. But what a lot of people missed about the Pistols was it wasn't like po-faced miserable gits. We were having a laugh as well, I mean, Steve, Paul and me, our common ground when we started the band was that we loved the faces. And if you look at them on the TV, they look like they was having a laugh about everything all the time, always, and didn't give a toss. And actually, I was very fortunate. About 10 years ago, I did about 10 shows with them. It's my all-time favourite band. It was the band that when I was 14, I used to stand in front of the mirror pretending I was in them, and we didn't do that many shows, and Rod didn't do it, but it was Kenny, Mac, and Ronnie. And we headlined the Fuji Festival in front of 50,000 people in Japan. That was kind of cool. And he still don't give a toss about anything, or he comes across like that. Do you know what? And there's a funny thing. When we was doing that, it occurred to them that there was two of the original Small Faces in the band, Kenny Jones and Ian McLagan, and that they hadn't played any Small Faces songs live together since like 1968 when they broke up. Wow. So we learned two songs for the encore. We learned All or Nothing, which is really easy, and I do in my set sometimes, and Tin Soldier, which is a bit complicated, but we got it right. And we played them on the first show, and as we was walking off the stage, Ronnie Wood said to me, he said, how about that, Glenn? He said, me and you, we played two Small Faces songs and got them right with two of the original Small Faces. Isn't that fantastic? And he meant it,
Wow.
So his enthusiasm was great. And he's probably one of my all-time favourite guitarists. There's something about his playing.
For sure.
A track like, do you know You Can Make Me Dance? It was their last single. It's kind of got this funk kind of... And you can tell he almost didn't get it, but he has somehow, and there's an edginess to it, and it's tuneful and melodic and cool. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, for a guy in such a legendary band that's still out on the road touring unbelievably and still great, that he got so much joy from just doing those two songs. That's such a great story to hear. Last thing. Any dates for America for your solo band, Blondie, anything?
Well, Blondie, I'll be doing Coachella. So that's in April. That's in April. And then we got stuff in England. I'm trying to set some stuff up for me. Might do a show in LA in the gap between that. I'm working on that yet. You know, thanks for having me on your show, but it's guys like you who play my record that mean that then I get to come back and play. So I'd love to come and tour my stuff in the States, you know. I love playing with Blondie, but these songs are my babies, you know. So, and I want to come to America and present them in a kind of a rock and roll baby shower, you know.
Yeah, well, listen, Glenn, your credentials are unquestionable. Obviously, the new record coming out, and the fact that you write to the fans on the YouTube channel, I'm more than happy to do my very tiny part to support you.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. So everybody pick up. Well, pre-order. Everybody knows now. You pre-order the album. It's called Consequences, coming from the great Glen Matlock. Thank you so much for your time today, man. It was really nice meeting you.
Cool. Also, can I add one thing?
Sure.
You can download the single now. You can get the single now on all your favorite outlets. You know, Amazon, what have you. You know.
Yep. Called Head on a Stick, and it's a rocker. So pick it up. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Don. Thank you for watching that clip. Here's some more I think you're going to enjoy. And of course, don't forget to hit the subscribe button.